what if I told you that you could totally change your impact, your influence, your relationships just by swapping out a couple of tiny words? Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, today we're going to break down two of the most powerful word swaps you can literally start using the second this is over. Okay, so take this line right here. Great work, but speed up. This is what a manager named Raj actually said to his team. I mean, on the surface, it seems okay, doesn't it? He led with a compliment. But, oh boy, the reaction he got was the exact opposite of what he was hoping for. You could just feel it. Instantly, the whole vibe in the room just tanked. Shoulders dropped, morale took a nosedive. All his team heard was the criticism. That great work part, it was totally wiped out by that one little word, but. Complete communication failure. So the next week, Raj gives it another shot. But this time, he tries something different. He changes one single word. He swaps out but for and. And notice this, he also throws in a question at the end, which turns a top-down order into a real collaboration. And wow, the difference was like night and day. So what happened? The team's output shot up by a massive 25%. Just think about that. Morale was up, people were engaged, the work itself got better, and it all came down to that one tiny, super precise change in how he said things. This story just perfectly sets up what we're talking about today. See, Raj's story really shines a light on a huge truth about communication. Most of the time when things go wrong, it's not because someone has bad intentions. It's because of their phrasing. The words we pick literally create the reality of that conversation. And let's be clear, the stakes here are super high. A single word can build trust, or it can completely shatter it. It can invite people to work with you, or it can make them resist everything you say. It's the difference between making someone feel defensive or making them feel open. It's huge. All right, so let's dig into that first swap. This is the one Raj used that worked so well. It's all about replacing the word but with and. I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? But believe me, this psychological shift is absolutely massive. So just think about this for a sec. We've all been there. Someone says, hey, that's a great job, but what happens in your head? You immediately tense up, right? You're just bracing for whatever is coming next. You completely forget the compliment and just wait for the criticism. Okay, so here's what's actually going on in our brains. The word but acts like an emotional eraser. It's like hitting the delete key on everything that came right before it. It creates a conflict in the listener's mind, and our brains are wired to pay way more attention to the negative part, the criticism. Let's look at this classic feedback example. The before version. You did a great job, but your presentation needs work. Ouch. It just deflates you. But look at the after. You did a great job, and with sharper presentation skills, you'll be unstoppable. See the difference? And connects the ideas. It builds on the good stuff instead of canceling it out. Here's another great one, this time for when you're kicking around ideas. I like your idea, but it needs work. That just shuts things down. Compare that to, I like your idea, and we can refine it together. Boom. It totally changes the vibe from your idea is flawed to our idea has potential. That is a game changer for teamwork. So you can see the pattern here, right? Whether it's feedback, new ideas, or even a disagreement. But just puts up walls. It makes people defensive. And, on the other hand, keeps them open. It makes them feel heard and ready to work with you. It's like a secret de-escalation tool that's been right there in our vocabulary the whole time. All right, you're ready for swap number 2? This one is another powerhouse. It's all about moving away from your personal judgment and grounding what you say in reality. We're talking about switching from I think to I noticed. So why is this one so powerful? Think about it. When you say I think, you're basically just stating your opinion. It's subjective. And what's the easiest way for someone to respond to your opinion? Well, I think something else. You're basically inviting them to argue with you right from the start. And here is the crucial difference. I think is an opinion, but I noticed is an observation. It's based on something you actually saw or heard. It's based on data. And it is so much harder to argue with an observable fact than it is to argue with someone's personal feeling. It just makes what you say more credible and way less confrontational. Take this example. If you say, I think you're upset, you're putting a label on them. You're making an assumption. And that can make people get defensive immediately. But if you say, I noticed you've been quieter than usual, well, that's just a fact. It's a gentle observation that opens the door for a real conversation instead of kicking off an argument. And at work? Oh, this is a total game changer. I think the report is unclear. Sounds like you're attacking the person's work. But I noticed a few points that might need clarification. That reframes the whole thing. It's not a criticism anymore. It's a team effort to make the report even better.
Okay, hold on. Before you go out and replace every but and I think in your vocabulary, we need to talk about some of the pitfalls. Because like any powerful tool, you could definitely use these the wrong way. The key to all of this is being authentic.
Just look at this first example. I know you're busy, and you still need to do this. It just sounds weird, right? It feels forced, almost manipulative. The whole point of using and is to genuinely connect two ideas, not just to tack on a demand. Sometimes you're just better off being direct and collaborative, like in the second example. And this next one is a huge trap to avoid. Don't use I noticed as a way to deliver a passive-aggressive attack. Saying I noticed you never contribute in meetings isn't an observation, it's a judgment disguised as one. The goal is to open a door with genuine curiosity, not to slam it in someone's face. Your intention really has to be to understand, not to accuse.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the why, but theory is one thing, practice is where the magic really happens. So to wrap this all up, I've got a super simple challenge for you to actually put this stuff to work in your real life.
It's a quick 3-day challenge, super easy. On day 1, your only mission is to swap but for and, just 3 times, that's it. On day 2, try using I noticed instead of I think 3 times. And then on day 3, see if you can combine them. Just pay attention to how people react. You might be totally blown away by the difference.
So let's just quickly recap the big ideas. Swapping but for and keeps people on your side. It keeps them receptive. And swapping I think for I noticed gives your words more weight and makes people less defensive. Remember, these aren't just clever tricks. They're precision tools to make you a much better communicator.
When it comes down to it, every single word you choose helps create the emotional vibe of a conversation. And by making these 2 little swaps, you're not just changing words, you're actually designing better conversations, ones that are more collaborative, more trusting, and just more effective. So the real question is, what kind of conversations are you going to start creating?